what's up everyone? So glad you can be back here in our video. So today, we're going to explore another facet of conversation, what we call the coaching mindset. I'm really excited to bring this for all of us because many people have asked me, say, Jedi, how do we talk, how do we think, how do we apply the coaching mindset in our conversational process? Well, today, we're going to discover just that. Now, today I want to look at one of the key core competencies known as competency number 2 on embodying the coaching mindset. So, many people have asked, how do we manage the state? I think in our previous videos we talked about the ability to manage your state, your emotional state, but how do we practically do it? Is there a particular way that I can really actualize it? Is there some practice that I can do? Is there something that I can really enhance myself in the practice today? Well, I have something special for all of us to really tune in, and this is an extract from our Mentor Coaching Success classes where we dive into the various competencies to really help you become a better coach. Now let's take a look at this. Now in competency number 2.7 it says this, the ability to maintain and develop and maintain and regulate one's emotions. So this portion here is really key because we're going to look at how to master state management. There are 3 parts here. Part 1, first, mastery of state, it's the ability to control over the behavioral outcomes of the triggers, whatever that's triggering us. And there are 3 key questions for internalization. Number 1, what is the intention of these emotions? How is the emotional state serving me and the client? How would I want to respond to these feelings? Take a moment right now to pause this video, post your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know your answers to this. Number 3, practice state management. Be mindfully conscious and aware, being able to dissociate states and create new neural linkages and make meaning matter. Wow, that's quite a lot of things for us to explore. Let me just unpack that for all of us to kind of consider so that it can help us to break down and go even deeper. Now, for the 3 questions for internalization, this is going to be key because for us to first begin to regulate our own emotion, we must first understand why do we have that emotions in the first place? Are we aware of how our emotions run? Are we aware of the triggers of our own emotions? Are we aware of what's really happening on the inside of us? Are we aware of how these emotions are serving us? Or perhaps, have we had experiences before where the emotions get the better of us? So the first question I often ask is this: what is the intention of these emotions? So what you want to do is in your own notepad, in your own notes, I want you to remind yourself and ask yourself this question: what is the intention of that emotion over there? How does that intention serve me? How does that emotion serve me, right? How is this emotional state serving me and the client? So for example, if I'm really excited, I'm all punchy, I'm all ready to go, how is this serving me and how is this serving the client? Number 3, how would I want to respond to these feelings? Now, our behavioral response is a choice. We can make a choice to respond in any way possible. Now, too often, we just do what we call a automatic response. Something happens, something triggers, something happens, we do something, something happens, we do something. That is an automatic response. But I want you to take a moment to just pause, hold back, and allow time for you to consider that response that you have, right? Basically, the moment when you are aware of the emotional state and your choice of the behavioral response. All of us have choices. You have a choice, we have a choice to decide how we choose to act. Now, that doesn't mean that emotions are bad. Now, I've seen people going around telling people, hey, you need to control that anger. The anger is bad. Anger is not good for you. Being sad is not good for you. No, God gave us all this array of emotions. Happy, sad, glad, disgust. Every single emotions are there and they are neutral, right? Not one emotion is better than the other. It's just a way of human expression. But it's important for us to know how to use those emotions well and effectively. So for example, if I'm angry, if I'm kind of like agitated, right? Do I act on that agitation? Do I act on that anger? Or do I recognize that and allow myself to change states so that I don't respond? For example, if I'm angry, when we are doing coaching for little children or for youths, we often tell them this, right? If you feel anger, when you feel betrayed, when you feel a sense of injustice, do you take things to your own hands? Do you punch the person? Do you retaliate in a different way? Do you do something against that person? So that retaliation, the action, must be considered because the action produces a certain outcome. We can choose not to act. We can feel angry, and that's fine. But we can choose not to act. We can choose to act in a different way, right? So the ability to delineate that is very key. And as such, one of the first things to practice the state management control, it's mindful conscious awareness. Mindful conscious awareness. So this is what I want you to do. Throughout the entire day, there are many different circumstances, situations, stories, or maybe environmental factors that might cause you to change your state. Now, sometimes the whole day may be going well, but perhaps maybe on your way back, you accidentally drop your wallet, or maybe you drop your phone, right? So you had a great and wonderful, fantastic day. You just got promoted, and as you're traveling back, you're taking the train back home, and you're coming down the escalator, and you accidentally drop your phone, a brand new phone, right? So at that moment, something happened. The event, which is that environmental event or that situation, triggered an emotional response. Now, the emotional response is a just response. Anybody who drop a brand new phone, you would have that automatic response, right? So the response is okay. But what we do with that truly matters, because are you aware of what happens there? Okay, you may be upset. That's fine. But you carry that sadness back home. So for example, at home, then you meet your children, you meet your spouses, you meet your partners, and then you begin to lash out on them. You say, this is a terrible day, the world is bad, the peers are bad, the boss is bad. But just a while ago, just an hour ago, when you were in the office, everything was perfect. You were enjoying the time of life. You were loving people, but something happened, which is that the phone that dropped, right? So notice this. What happens as a consequence of you allowing the emotional state to transfer? So being mindful and conscious and aware of that is the first stage to really allow those thoughts to kind of not take root in your heart. Remember, emotions it's an everyday part of a human life, but we don't allow that to fester its roots into our hearts and become a sense of negativity. That's number one. Number two, allow yourself to create dissociative states. What do we mean by that? I am not the actions, right? The actions or my actions or doesn't define who I am. Sometimes maybe I'm angry, I might accidentally burst out, right? But I must realize this, that at that moment I may be feeling upset, but I will not allow my actions to define who I am. So what then happens is this: when I notice that the anger rising up, or maybe the sadness rising up, or maybe the sense of jubilation that's rising up, right? I must be mindful that I'm also operating in a space of ecology with others. So I can dissociate myself and say, hey, okay, what is he doing over there? What is she doing over there? What are they doing over there? So I step out of myself. I look at myself from a third person perspective, and I'm telling myself, hey, what are you going to do? Okay, I know you're upset. I know your feelings down. So you're coming from a third person perspective, right? So like a little voice on the outside of you telling yourself, hey, I know you're feeling upset. I know you're feeling totally feeling unjust about this matter. But do you allow those thoughts to run over you, or you control the very actions that you take? Dissociate yourself from the first person to the third person. And number three, creating new neural linkages and making meaning. So what do we mean by this? Which means this: you want to rewire yourself. This is a way for us to reprogram the way that we respond. So often when, say for example, if I'm kind of upset about something, I may tend to punch or lash out at someone. So rather than trying to lash out at someone, maybe perhaps I can journal it down, transferring that energy for something else. We need an output to release the energy. Sometimes it might be just getting to a room, singing a song, getting somewhere, standing by the edge of the beach and just shouting it out, or maybe exercising, sweating it out. Find something that you can allow the energy to release. It's not controlling. Sometimes I see people say, oh, when you're feeling anger, just control it, squeeze it, let it go, let it go, let it go. You can't let it go. You need to let the energy to be transferred to somewhere else. But transferring somewhere else in a way that's safe for you, in a way that's safe for others, in a way that makes a lot of sense, so that we don't end up hurting others, we don't end up hurting ourselves. So one very important tip for us to consider, it's first the awareness of our emotional state, then being able to dissociate, and then being able to teach yourself how to respond, how to create a behavior shift, how to create a behavioral response that makes most sense in those actions and in those emotions that I'm feeling at that moment. So there you go, a very, very, very powerful and important lesson in managing and controlling states. Right? I see too often people when they are triggered by certain events and they feel like the whole world is against them, and they just flip right to a different extreme. And we're all guilty of that at some point of time. But are we able to take a step back, dissociate ourselves, be consciously aware, and then create new neural linkages so that we respond in a way that is safe for ourselves and safe for others? Now, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, share this with a friend who needs it. As a coach, this is something really important for all of us to understand how to control and maintain and regulate our emotions. So do stay tuned. In our channel at Coaching Changes Lives, there's so many amazing videos that we have for you. And if you're thinking, hey, Jedi, how can I get in touch with you? How can I join you in one of the programs? In fact, we have several programs here where we help coaches through our training programs, mastering coaching, team leadership coaching, even our mentor coaching success, really there to help coaches to raise their game, raise the bar of their professional standards as a coach. Many coaches ask me, say, should I take up a certification course? Well, the thing is this: you're not taking up a certification course, you're learning to become a better version of yourself. And that's what I truly believe in, that coaching has the power to change lives. Until next time, this is Jedi here at Coaching Changes Lives. I will see you really soon.